Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, October 10th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe we're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple quick clarifications. Number one, the candlestick you see there will still be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ticker symbol PRZO. Did this one on Friday and started off the week here very, very nicely. Going to go ahead and just delete that line out as it served its purpose for now. And we have a nice little pattern here that has formed. So going to start off with actually the bottom part of this pattern and the nice support trend line, which we have right there. So let me change that to green to represent more so the support part of that pattern. And then on the flip side of things, we have the resistance part of the pattern. Let me get this little adjusted here. There we go. Like that. And maybe to make it easier to see, let's keep it all one color now. So again, we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big upwards move right here. For you golfers out there, I'll try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So while there are no guarantees, is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price can come up here and push up through that level, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible thought process to have. So if you like bull pennants, you like stocks down below $5, definitely keep an eye on this one. Next one here, HUBC. I'm not sure I've ever heard of this ticker symbol before, but a penny stock that just exploded today, huge volume. So for those of you that like penny stocks, this is definitely one that's getting a whole lot of volume. So let's get some levels here mapped out. First area that I would consider more so a pullback location. So if you like to play more so supports on pullback, interesting level right here at that 55-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. Again, if you like to play more so pullbacks. And then as far as resistance levels are concerned, a couple different, I'm not going to say this is, obvious or anything, but I think to try to find a ground that, most people are watching, probably right there at 74 cents. And I say that because then I realized the price did actually go up above that area. So maybe some people are just going to flat out use that one as a resistance. But to me, there's just more data points right around that area right there. So in my opinion, the most accurate level is right there at the 74-cent mark. But again, I wouldn't say, you're being irrational or anything like that if you did want to just use that as your area of resistance. But in all actuality now, from a pattern standpoint, so resistance, support, big upwards move here. We'll call this maybe a poor man's bull flag. I can say, Clay, I'm not quite sure if that's a bull flag. You might be kind of trying to fit a square peg through a round hole. I can see where you're coming from there, but hopefully you can see where I'm coming from. That there's, broadly speaking, there's somewhat of a bull flag here, but at the end of the day, anyway, look at it. In my mind, these are definitely two very interesting technical levels. So keep an eye on this, but at the core, big volume, big volatility. And for those of you that like penny stocks, that's what you need for a worthwhile situation. Next one, PLTR. Very, very nice mover today. I mean, check out the opening first 30 minutes of the day. I mean, this thing just came out of the gates exploding. Crazy, crazy day. And really just crazy, crazy opening 30 minutes. But these lines down here have served their purpose for now. So we'll get some new levels out. But the first key level that I think is a little bit more obvious, I think most people are going to be watching right up here at $17.75. I mean, that was essentially the peak of that big movement right there. And what makes this interesting is the price is now definitely well within striking distance. So it makes a very valid question to be thrown out there. Can the price get enough momentum on, not necessarily Tuesday morning, but sometime on Tuesday to work its way back up there and get the break? To me, that's a very plausible question to be thrown out there. So keep an eye on that breakout point. And then even from a support standpoint, whoops, I did not mean to grab that. There we go. From a support standpoint, we have this trend line right there. Again, I would use that as a support, and then just turn this into patterns. Oh, that was a terrible line. Let's try again. We have resistance. We have support. We have the big upwards move here. So another bull pennant type pattern here. So earlier bull pennant, but it was on a stock down below $5. But here we have a bull pennant on a stock that's a bit more expensive. But PLTR, very, very impressive move today and a nice bull pennant pattern. Next one, MTEK, and we've had a lot of good solid movers here, and a lot of these were that you can just throw in some very quality trend lines here, and we have another example of that right here. So if you are someone that likes to play just pullbacks and trend lines, that trend line right there, right around that general area, I can, to me that makes a lot of sense why you would potentially build a trade plan down around that area if the price does get down to that location. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, right up around this area at, we'll call it the $1.50 mark, generally speaking, because again, I realize that the price did actually go above it here, but there was an instance here, price didn't quite hit it, and right there, the price did hit it. So just trying to find the kind of that middle ground in my mind. $1.50 makes good sense for that key area of resistance. So overall, you have a nice upward slope to it. You have some problems right here, but in some senses, it's kind of like a spring. And is the spring going to get a move to the upside? A very valid situation to keep an eye on. Next one, AMC, and for those of you that did watch yesterday's video, or not yesterday's, but last week's video, hopefully you remember me talking about that level right there, and very, very nice move today as the price has come up and broken through that level. So just basic rule in charting, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level, as that'll be the main and ideal level moving forward. Ideal meaning, say, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest for going forward? That would definitely be if $9.43 can hold. But with that being said, from the big picture point of view, it's not like if the price drops below that level, that means that everything's entirely destroyed. But from big picture, the level that you now want to see hold is that purple line there, 50-period moving average. Keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. So continue to watch that. But yeah, anyway, look at it. Very, very impressive move today. Destroyed that level of resistance, continues to grind higher. So we'll see if this momentum carries into Tuesday. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here in a little while. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage. But one special note, I realize it is a couple weeks away. So if you just want to watch one of the former classes, go ahead, send me an email, clay@clayjar.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. That way you don't have to wait until October 19th. You can just watch it sooner than that. So that's always a choice too. But if you just want to make it live, then definitely get signed up. Next one, MARA, nice move today. And I think most eyeballs, because this is not a great discovery on my part at all, a lot of traders use the 200-period moving average, which on my chart represented there by that pink line. And you can see that the price is now well within striking distance. So it becomes a very plausible question to throw out there. Can the price make a move upwards? And then more specifically, can the price break up through that level right there? So that'll be the big question mark. I think a lot of people watching, and a lot of people are watching the same dynamics, asking the same questions. Call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movement. So no guarantees, but it's certainly plausible that if the price can get up to that pink line and break through it, that in and of itself could create quite a bit of momentum. Just from a support side of things, you just heard me talk about it, but I'd watch that purple line there, 50-period moving average. So as time goes by, that line will continue to move itself higher and higher. But in my opinion, by far the most interesting dynamic headed into the next couple of days, all about that 200-period moving average and whether or not the price can push up through it. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and this will mean a lot more to those of you that have been watching, but still all about that red line up there at 262.50. It did get somewhat close late day on Friday and has once again got somewhat close late day today on Monday. Still has not been able to push up through it. But what I'm going to throw in there, just because now I'm somewhat curious, is there, I'm guessing, just eyeballing it, there's got to be some sort of interesting trend line here. Yeah, right around here, you can see that there is this trend line dynamic. Let me change it to there and make it a little bit easier or different to see. But, that seems to be going to be the first key level of resistance. Right here is going to be that initial level right there. But if the price can push up through there, then that is definitely where the big question mark comes into play. Can the price break up through 262.50? Because as you've seen, past couple of times, the price gone up around that, just not even that level specifically, but the general area, both there and here, some selling has shown up and pushed the price back down. As far as areas of support are concerned, I definitely keep an eye on that pink line, 200-period moving average. In my mind, that's more so the key overarching level to watch. Because if I zoom down here, you can see that as long as the price stays above there, I mean, really, going back to the trend of lower trend lines, pun intended, we do have a nice trend line right there. So, I mean, you could also use that. Actually, I think that probably makes the most sense right there to use something like that as a trend line. But all in all, basically this wedge formation is formed. And if the wedge can get to break to the upside, then the next key level to break is 262.50. Next one here, AMD. And nothing really new to report from the video I did on Friday. Talked about each of these levels and they still pertain. You have the overarching area of resistance up there at 108.80. You have this level of support down here at 104.40. And now from an intraday standpoint, I mean, if you wanted to, you could throw in a trend line and look at something like that and then look for a break of that trend line and then, see if it can get up to that area right there. But like I said, just from an overarching standpoint, both these levels still do hold true. But again, since... Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think it's worthwhile enough to throw that trend line in there because I got to think that that's going to be one that some people are indeed curious about. So watch that. And if the price can't push up through there, then yeah, that 108.80 mark is going to be the main level. And then support-wise, you got 104.40, but you also have that purple line there creeping upwards and moving. So on Tuesday, that purple line is going to move above the 104.40 mark, and at that point, that level will take a higher priority as a support. Next one here, RIVN, and I've been tracking this one quite a bit, and the sideways movement continues. Popular stock, and what I'm going to actually do now is get rid of that. And yeah, you guessed it. We're going to put ourselves in. I think we are. That's that's upward slope to it. Yeah, okay, barely. Not as steep as what I thought it was, actually. But that is still nonetheless a trend line there. So when you have this sort of action where you get not only sideways movement, but a sideways movement with a slight upward slope to it, it becomes that more valid to throw out the question, okay, is this downwards move finally over? This thing got absolutely hammered. Now you're starting to see it bottoming out with an upward slope to it. I wish I could say that guaranteed a bottom if only trading were that easy. But my point here is it becomes a lot more plausible at this point to start to question, is this some sort of bottoming formation? But with that, on that note, it's still all about that 1940 mark as an initial area of resistance, but not that far away from that area of resistance. You have the purple line there. So even if 1940 breaks, don't get too excited because, hovering, slightly above there is going to be that 50 period moving average. But more of the story here, it's becoming more and more valid to think that maybe some sort of bottom is forming. So if you like to try to catch bottoms and get those movements back to the upside, certainly worth keeping an eye on. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market is going to go up, this one will also go up. And just a very popular ETF out there, and a good movement today as I'm squeezing this down so you can see where this red line is coming from. Been a long time since the price has been up this high. As you can see, the price is now broken up above that red line. So as I said on past charts, when levels of resistance are broken, you want to see them act as support. I mean, you have a classic example of that. You could throw this right into a textbook. So it was broken right there, and then you can see right there, acting as support. So moving forward, the ideal level, 37.70. But again, like I said, I think on AMC, even if the price drops below there, that does not mean that the overall chart is epically destroyed. But yeah, if the price can continue to stay above that level, that'd be a great sign of power. But from the bigger picture point of view, it's all about that purple line there, 50 period moving average. So as that line continues upwards, keep an eye on that. And that'll be the main level that matters most from the support side of things. In terms of areas of resistance, next key level to watch now, going to be right there at $38.45. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to go get signed up for that training. It'll be a little while, Thursday, October 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But like I said earlier, if you don't feel like waiting until then and you just like to watch one of the older classes, then send me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to a replay again of one of those past classes. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment below, say hi, tell me what you traded today, give me your watch list for tomorrow. Those things help out the channel. They communicate to me that you're enjoying. And as long as I know you're enjoying, I'll continue to do these videos. So thanks for watching. Get signed up for that free class or go ahead and drop me an email.